Shane, Shane, Shane. Shane, 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 Shane. A-L-A-N, Allen. A-L-A-N, Allen. Allen, 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 Allen.
Hey, episode 31 of the 38th Parallel. I am Shane, also known as the Hoppitarian. Only also known as the Hoppitarian by me. Nobody else calls me that. So, you know, that's how it goes. You make your own nickname. You have your own podcast. You can call yourself whatever the fuck you want. But before I bring my guest, host, co-host, whatever you want to call him, you know him, you love him, maybe. I want to put this out there. Literally minutes before I went live and started recording, I got a check in the mail. It's kind of interesting. I got a check from Qatar. That's kind of random. They gave me, let me see what, hold on, let me check. Let's see here. Man, this is a freaking, this is juicy. This is a good check. I mean, did you get your check too, Alan?
I'm Googling really quick. What currency does Qatar use?
Rubles.
The Qatari rial is worth one of those is worth 0.27 American dollars. So you might want to check the math before you get too excited.
Okay. So
yeah.
The number,
if they paid you 1,000 Qatari rial, you actually only got $274.
No, it was more than that. It
All
was. I mean, I'm kind of speechless on how much money they give me. I can't even like. I'm just a nobody.
I've heard 10 million's the going rate.
Yeah, they okay. So 50 million.
Oh. In that case, we've got $13,732,491
This is the last episode. This is the last episode of 38th Parallel. After this, it's over. I don't even.
Wait, hold on. You mean to tell me that the Qatari government paid us $13 million and instead of producing content, you quit? Dude, they're sending some bad men.
Yeah.
Dude, they're gonna find you, but like they already have your address because they sent the check. So
it's over.
Yeah. Like, you know, those guys in the movie The Mummy that wore all black and they like fought the zombies out in the desert with swords? Those guys are coming to your house.
Yeah. And see that counter behind you, that counter when you're gonna die. Yeah, right there. Mine's gonna be sometime this upcoming, like in a few days, because like I said, it's the end of the show. After this, it's over. If we do another episode of the show, then I guess they'll let me live. I don't know. So I got Qatari, whatever it was. I also got Chinese. Was it yuan? Yuan? I got Chinese yuan. And
I feel like I'm gonna get on a watch list for even Googling flights to Qatar. You know?
I'm sure it's lovely this time of year.
All right. I can get a connecting flight actually that originates out of Nashville. That's pretty nice.
Hey. Wow.
I can go from Nashville, Tennessee to Doha, Qatar. I have to wait until Monday, October 21st before they're
a direct flight.
No, it's not direct.
Oh, I was about to say, holy shit.
Why would it be?
I don't know.
Who's going there? I don't know.
Government agents.
It's multiple airlines to get there. And yeah, how many transfers is that? Yeah, that's going to be
at least 2 or 3, I would think.
Actually, I mean, there's if you're willing to pay over $1,700, you can get one that only has one stop.
Damn.
That's actually pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So
1700?
okay. All right.
Damn.
Yeah. We'll just do that. I guess we'll just.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just go from. All right. We're going from Nashville to Philly.
Okay.
And then we're going from Philadelphia International Airport to Hamad International Airport in Doha, Qatar.
Dang, one connection. Oh wow.
Yeah, you can't even do that shit to go from like state to state in this fucking
I know.
country. God damn. Now that is going to set you back about $1,852.
Well, with this check, I mean, that's
Well,
nothing.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
I'm actually pretty impressed, believe
Yeah.
it or not. If you want premium economy rather than main cabin, it's going to bump it up to 2,629.
Well,
So
we got millions of dollars, so we'd want to go first class. You know, we gotta live the good life now. We got the millions of bucks.
according to Google, it says 1769 is typical for economy. Flights to Doha usually cost, and it has a price. How many flights are we fucking talking about? Apparently enough that they have a range of prices.
I guess
I didn't
there's enough people
realize.
that go. Yeah.
Didn't realize shit was going down in Qatar, but
Yeah.
well, it shows what I know. That's why you got the check and not me.
Right. That was the first check, though. That was a tease. I got another check. I was alluding to
That's
earlier.
just the seed money.
Yeah, I got the Chinese. The Chinese were also
Oh.
sending me money.
Oh, they've got money.
Yeah, Chinese yuan, however you pronounce it. That was also 50 million yuan. I don't know how much that is in dollars. I didn't look it up.
It's not just yen anymore.
No, yen's Japanese.
Then what's won?
Won, I believe, is Korean.
You people are all the fucking same to me. I don't know.
Yen, won, yuan, yeah. So
Sounds like somebody ripped somebody off, but I don't know enough about the history of the region to know who ripped who off.
okay, so 50 Chinese yuan or 50 million Chinese yuan equals just over $7 million.
So it's less.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we getting paid less from China than Qatar?
I guess Qatar likes us more. I don't know. Doing good stuff according to them.
They want more from us.
Yeah. You're not being hard enough on America.
But I mean, I have a question for you though, like in all seriousness. Like if
Yeah.
I told you like, hey, I got an angel investor to donate me some cash to produce more episodes if it's too late. Would it matter to you who gave me the money?
I mean, probably the only way that I could even maybe be like, oh, that's kind of not good, is if it was, if you knew it was from like a drug cartel or something. Because then if you really fuck up, then you're getting beheaded. You know what I mean? Like you're yeah.
So you're not worried then. So what you're saying is you're more worried about what would happen to me for doing business with what would happen to me from them, not what would happen to me from like the public or the state. You're saying you were worried about the people who actually gave the money.
Yeah.
See, because see, it's really a two-parter. The first part is that would you really care if where the money came from? If I said, oh, I just got a big donation to the show, so we're going to keep doing the show like, indefinite, like, oh my God, Shane, I just got so much money. We're going 5 nights a week. Like I'm hiring you. I'm bringing you on the staff.
Hell
yeah,
yeah,
5 nights a week. Would you be like, hell? So you just said, hell yeah, let's go. Would you be like, wait a minute, I just got to ask, full disclosure, like, what's the hookup?
Yeah, who is this from? Where they get the money from? What country are they from? Who they work for?
Well, if the second part was, if I said, okay, well, look, this is what we're gonna do, but we're going to have to make some changes to the show, right? Like we're going to have to have like a weekly segment where we talk about X, Y, and Z. Would you be like, oh no, dude, deal's off, I'm out? Or would you be like, I mean, if that's what the buyer wants, that's what the buyer wants,
Yeah, let's talk salary. How much am I getting in my
Yeah.
pocket? Yeah.
So okay, so then what could the show be about that would actually make you be like, no, we talked about it and I don't think I can be a part of this? Like I'm talking like I'm offering you 6 figures to just come on and help produce the show. What could the show be about where you would say, nah, I'm not going to do that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to talk about PE, PED, and then I wouldn't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about performance enhancing drugs. Got that?
Yeah. I don't want.
So we won't be hearing any about that about the Niners. No PEDs.
That's for a different. Yeah, that's a different channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about the the wood chipper people.
Yes.
Yeah. So but what do you mean talking about them? Because we do talk about them. We talk about how they go in wood chippers.
Well, I mean, like in a positive light. Like, hey, I don't know. I mean, I kind of get why it's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. But if we're talking about putting them in a wood chipper, I'm all in.
Okay, but I would say, but that's against the law.
Yeah. So
what if I said that we had to do like branded content that was not against the law? Because like, so it's not inciting violence.
Yeah.
It's not promoting criminal activity. Would you be like, honestly, dude, for that salary to have this kind of job, I just don't even care. I'd be like, whatever, just give me an assignment. I'm on board. Because I'm actually kind of halfway serious, because it's so easy for randos on the internet to just be like, oh, my favorite talking head said this, so I'm just 100% on board with whatever their opinion is. And dude, if it were me, I would totally, just drop the bag, right? Like if Russia handed me $10 million, I'd be like, nah, man, dude, you guys, Putin, you're evil. Take that money and shove it. Really? Is that really what you would say? Because I've seen the consumer debt index in this country, and a lot of people's like got all their credit cards maxed out.
Yeah.
Really? That's what you would do?
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just, it's pretty crazy. And going to your example though, of like, where would the money come from, or where does the money come from, or where did the money come from? That's what I'm trying to say. I can't speak English, as you can tell.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Like it. Okay, so there's nowhere ever if Israel gave you money, would you?
Yeah, just as an example, just throwing one out there.
Yeah.
So if Israel gave us $10 million and I had to change the format, like it's too late, but we now have to do a segment each week where we talk about like how the Palestinians need to be cleansed from Gaza because they're just all terrorists, and Israel has a right to defend itself. And, actually what we need to do is we need to elect a lot more people in this country. We got to elect a lot more people in this country for the explicit purpose of supporting Israel. It has nothing to do with what their policies are for America. We elect them because they have good policies for Israel. And they're actually going to pay us to promote only the candidates that vote for the most for Israel. Would you still do it?
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, I'm for sale for $10 million. Like, are you kidding me?
People would notice, though. They would notice. Man, Alan went from being like talking shit about Gaza talking shit about Israel and making jokes, all of a sudden being like,
Yeah.
hey, come on, Ben Shapiro. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, come on, that yarmulke looks pretty nice. I'd like to wear that.
Because obviously to kind of turn that 180 is, but if people were presented with that option, and maybe some people, first of all, basically everyone would, because $10 million is $10 million.
Yeah.
But even if there were people who were like, wait a minute, I wouldn't do that. And then I'd be like, okay, that's cool. You don't believe in that. You wouldn't do it, whatever. But how is any other country making that offer to you any different than Israel? So if you wouldn't do it, then it should be moot, because you wouldn't do it for a lot of people. But if you would do it, why would you do it for them but not do it for other people?
I mean, I guess one of the reasons would be that you just don't believe in what you're saying. Like, you truly do not believe in, like, if you're going through the Israel-Palestine example, you don't think what Israel and their government is doing is right. And then all of a sudden you start going, I don't know, these Palestinians, they need to stop acting childish and start maybe just take the deal already.
So I would say that not only would most people do it anyway, because of how much money it is, but also that if the offer was that good, then instead of worrying about it being, but I would hate it because I would be forced to endorse these things that I don't agree with and whatever, I would just quit thinking of the show as the show, and I would just start thinking of it as work. It's just, like, instead of thinking of the show as a creative product of mine that I enjoy, I would just think of it as, making widgets. Yep. So it's not glamorous, but where am I going to go make widgets for $10 million?
I mean, that's.
So I'm just, I'm obviously being a little facetious because I'm looking at it more from the money angle, just in a vacuum. But there's also where it comes from angle. Because I mean, like, I could sit here and say that if Saudi Arabia wanted to give me a bunch of money, it'd be like, well, I don't like Saudi Arabia, but that's a lot of money. And look at all the people who have taken money from Saudi Arabia, dude.
Yeah.
Like, look where the UFC has like half their fights now. Right?
Good point. Yeah.
So it's not like we would be blazing a new trail here. There's a bunch of people who've taken a bunch of money from like the Saudi royal family and stuff.
Well, yeah. And also, it was a big controversy with golf. Like, I think it was LIV or Live. How you pronounce it. That's a Saudi product. And PJ is like, oh my God, I can't even believe. Phil Mickelson, I think, was part of it. And everyone's like shitting on him, and So I guess I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate, that on the one hand, it's so easy to say that you would or wouldn't do something when it's not your literal wallet on the line. Like, for that kind of money, because I look at it from a sponsorship standpoint. It's like, we just started a what is going to be a year-long fundraiser. We're literally down to, it ends on September 3rd of next year. So we're like a year minus 3 days from the end of my year-long fundraiser. So let's just call it 12 million, just to make it a per month number. If I'm trying to raise $1,000 a month, and somebody said, well, I'll just kick in $1 million a month today, so that you just don't have to worry about that, don't have to worry about that $1,000. Yeah.
And then I'd be like, well, that obviously makes you our gold tier sponsor of It's Too Late. What do you want me to sell? But instead of selling, Fox and Sons coffee, they're going to have you sell a message, right? They're going to have you sell an agenda.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I mean,
so anyway, so the first angle is just the money. Yeah. It's so easy for people to say they would or wouldn't do something, when in reality, if you had a check for that much money on the table, you have to be a really special person, or you're independently wealthy and that much money isn't life-changing. If that's life-changing money to you, you're going to have to really sell me that you'd have the guts to be like, no thanks. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think it would be wrong of me to sit here and tell you that I could just throw that amount of money away. Because for whatever evil it causes, you'd start thinking of the good you could do with it. And you start thinking, well, where am I going to see this kind of money? You know?
Yeah.
Like who of the good guys, which of them are going to give me $10 million?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
So that's
convincing me. You're convincing me.
That's just the money angle. Now there's where it's the where it's from angle of, well, we obviously know the hypocrisy of the kind of people who are 100% in support of everything Israel does. And they know for a fact that Israel has bought and paid for an absolute crap ton of media personalities.
Yeah.
And they're perfectly fine with that. And they know Israel doesn't give money to these people because they're altruistic. They give money to people to support their agenda. If your problem is it's election interference, how's that not election interference, but Russia paying money to someone to allegedly maybe or maybe not talk smack about whatever, the American empire? That's election interference. But Israel, that literally says, like, they're not hiding it. They literally tweet out, look at all the politicians we bought. That's not election interference.
Yeah.
Literal politicians that they literally got elected who do their bidding. That's not election interference. But hiring like a podcaster to get some of their friends together to support Gaza, that's election interference. So let's not even talk about the Israel thing for a second.
Yeah, right.
Like, those people are hypocrites. Fuck them. But anyone, if I just said, hey, we just got a huge, oh my God, we just got a super chat from my friend Gibbs right there for $10 million. Oh my God, Shane, our lives are transformed. Well, Gibbs, what did you want us to do for that? And he's like, well, I'm a white supremacist. And so
I mean, for you, that wouldn't be too hard, right?
Yeah, it'd be fine. Yeah, it's really weird that he super chatted it on your channel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but whatever. Hey, I mean, maybe he, what's that? A fool and his money will soon be parted. But
yeah.
But so that's what I come around to, what could and couldn't it be about that would make you genuinely turn it away? And then finally, the last question is, honestly, what business is it of anyone else's? What is election interference? I guess that's an important question. Like, if I said to you, hey, Shane, did you hear about Joe Bob? They caught him doing this election interference. If I told you that and nothing else, what in your mind, what do you think that person did?
Literally, the first thing I thought of was they ripped up their vote ballot or their ballot and just ripped it up. Didn't even give it to the person to,
like, is election interference is you actually go down to the voting precinct and you pull the fire alarm and the sprinklers come on and it destroys the voting. Like, I guess that's election interference,
right?
They'd probably just get you for destruction of public property as opposed to election interference. But I could see where you're making, you're trying to stop people from voting or whatever, But seriously, what's 10 million is going to set me back a bit. Sorry, Gibbs. I mean, is on you, is your decision, but no refunds, right? But it's but what is election interference? Because that's one of those boogeyman terms. It used to be you just called people faggots and that was the end of it. Now it's you're either an election denier or you committed election interference.
One election, you're an election denier. One.
Like, remember that one guy that they tried to put in jail because he made memes about Hillary Clinton? They said that was election interference, and they arrested him and stuff. Like, remember that whole thing? So it's like, so basically, he said bad things about Hillary Clinton that, I guess if you really had to label it, he would say technically that's satire. Like, I'm not literally saying that Hillary Clinton is like, a character in SpongeBob SquarePants. What I'm saying is it's a SpongeBob meme, but it's about Hillary Clinton. I'm not saying that Hillary Clinton literally lives in a pineapple under the sea. But according to the federal government, like, you're literally saying Hillary Clinton said and did X, Y, and Z, and therefore you're interfering with the election. So you're under, like, this literally happened. This is not, this isn't an exaggeration. They actually arrested a guy for this. But my question is like, so if he was arrested for election interference, what exactly is election interference? If election interference is getting people to vote one way and not another, isn't that what campaigning is?
Yeah.
Isn't that what everyone does? So what makes it election interference? Is it lying? Because politicians literally lie every time they open their mouth. So it can't just be that, because that happens all the time. So what is it? What's election interference?
It's some made up term that, like you said, it's a boogeyman. It's a made up term to scare people. Hey, the people, Russia, they're doing it again. They're trying to manipulate you to vote for Donald Trump. They're not going to manipulate people who aren't even going to vote for him in the first place. So what are they worried about? They're not going to vote for him anyway. Who are they manipulating? And if we're going to go with that term, election interference, and manipulating the minds of the voters, who are they manipulating? 18-year-olds? Who are they manipulating? That's my question to you, Alan. Who are they manipulating?
So you remember how I said, so this will be my answer to that. Remember how I said, like, the big problem with MAGA is they're like, if you're arguing that the 2020 election was stolen, then my question to you is that, well, how is 2024 going to be any different?
Yeah.
Why even bother voting if they're just going to steal the election? If you're positive they stole the election last time, how is this one going to be any different? Why would they not just steal it? What have you done that's going to change anything? All right, same energy as that. If you think the Russians interfered with the 2016 election to get Donald Trump elected, why didn't they do it in 2020?
They didn't do it good enough.
If they're trying to do it in 2024, so they skipped an election? What's the story with that? Like, so the moral of the story being is that people can't really define the things that they're saying that are happening, and they can't really explain. They can't explain the unexplained. They can't explain why something happens one time but doesn't happen another time. It's almost as if it never happened at all. It's like if you said, "Oh, my apartment is haunted," I'd be like, "Oh, that's weird. How do you know that?" It's like, "Well, on Monday the door opened and closed on its own." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what happened on Tuesday?" "Oh, nothing." Like, "Well, is it not haunted anymore?" He's like, "Well, it wasn't haunted on Tuesday, but then he came back on Wednesday." I was like, "Okay, now you're just." Well, maybe the answer is something entirely different, and it's not actually haunted at all. It's something else. I don't know what it is, but it's something else. And then the next layer is that, okay, so if we get that huge $10 million super chat from Lyle, other than paying taxes, now, of course, whatever, taxation is theft, yada, yada, yada. But other than paying taxes, because taxes are a law, whether you like it or not, you do have to currently pay taxes. So if you got a $10 million donation to the podcast, then you would then have to, obviously you would have to file that income, and you'd have a pretty hefty, you'd pay like $3-4 million in taxes that year.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than paying your taxes, what's illegal about that? What business is it of theirs at that point? Like, if you got the money and then you filed on your taxes, like, "Hey, I'm running this media company and I just made all this money, but like, hey, I'm telling you, look, I made this money. I want you to know, like, here's the receipts. So here's my taxes." At that point, what difference does it make?
I don't know. I guess because the government didn't register it or however. I don't know.
So I would say, if we could be just a tad bit conspiratorial, I would say that if there's lots of people that do it, and it's already nobody else's business but yours, but if lots of people are taking money from a lot of places, and a lot of them are not for altruistic reasons, and a lot of them have their own, everyone has an agenda. If Nestle buys a sponsorship and they want you to advertise quick, you know, they have an agenda. They want you to advertise the product. It's not, it wasn't a donation. It was a payment.
Yeah.
So everyone has an agenda. We have an agenda. I mean, I just want someone to give us the 10 million. That's my agenda.
Nice.
Yeah. Right. So if everybody has an agenda and lots of people are taking money, and lots of people are taking money from unknown sources or from sources overseas, and lots of people are taking money from sources overseas explicitly to support their causes, then it seems to me that at the end of the day, it's really just the government picking the winners and losers, and the government deciding who gets to play ball and who doesn't. And they're deciding who the good guys and the bad guys are. And then that would bring us full circle to, well, why was somebody who got paid $10 million, allegedly, by the way, allegedly, because we haven't even gotten around to, this entire premise is built on, when I tell you, oh, did you hear somebody got caught doing X, Y, and Z? Your first question to me should be, oh, really? Wow, man, where'd you hear that? And my answer is, oh, CNN reported it. It was from the Department of Justice. And then you just hang up the phone. You just quit talking to me.
Yeah, and it's from the administration that you've talked so much shit about, and then it's the DOJ under their administration saying all this stuff. You're like, well, I guess, I mean, it says right there, it must be true. I mean, all the people talking about, when you're talking about Russiagate, I'm sure these same people were kind of looking at it being like, I don't know, I think there's probably more to this. Let's wait. Let's see what else will come out of this. Dive more into it. But with this, one thing comes out. All right, well, I guess that's it. Yeah.
So then that brings us to the next layer of the onion is, so you say to me, oh, wow, Alan, that's crazy. I didn't hear that story. Where'd that come from? I'm like, oh, the DOJ said it. And then you're like, wait a minute. The people who like created Russiagate, who like the Steele dossier, and they said that Hunter's laptop was not real and that was Russian disinformation, but the Steele dossier and Trump and Russiagate is real. That is real, but the Hunter laptop is not real.
Yeah. And
of course, that turned out to be the opposite of true, also known as a lie. Yeah. The people who said that 100% and with a completely straight face. Yeah, my 51 signatures. That's right, Gibbs. And we know for a fact that was a lie. We knew it was a lie then because they're liars, but now it's been completely conclusively proven that they lied. But then there's no consequences for the people for the lying. It's like, oh yeah, you caught us lying. It's like, okay, but well, now what? Now nothing. That's it. That's the end of the story. If you or me go to Congress and we say something and it's a lie, and then down the road they're like, oh, hey, you lied about that. If you go, yeah, I did. Suck it, loser. You're going to jail. Yeah, they're coming to get you.
Yeah.
These people get to do it and they just go to breakfast.
Yeah.
They just enjoy their morning. That's what happens to them when they get caught.
Sleep at night.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. They slept like babies the whole time. Well, because they had an agenda and they achieved it. They're the winners. We're the losers. That's what happens. So on top of everything else, this story is coming from the DOJ, and so the government. They are known liars. We know that they are liars. We know that they are evil, and they're the ones who are releasing the details of the indictment, the investigation. So then that brings us to the next layer of, so the exact people who they themselves feel that they were victimized by the DOJ, right? Like these people who are right-wingers and conservatives, these people, the MAGA, these people who are Trump supporters, they feel like victims. They're like the government. It's lawfare. We've talked about this on the show recently. It's lawfare. They're out to get us. The big bad lefties and the commies and the bureaucrats. They're using the machinations of government to attack their political opponents, which is us. And that's evil and immoral and unethical and illegal and otherwise wrong. Those people are the ones saying, hey, this guy's interfering with the election. Look at the money they took.
Yeah.
And they're all on board.
Yeah.
They're all totally on board.
Yeah.
They didn't even have Shane, they didn't even have to be convinced. It was just say no more, fam. Just boom, on board. I guess that would be my bigger question to you, is that besides everything that I've said so far, how come you think it is that they would all be so gleefully on board, as opposed to not just being skeptical of what was said because it was the DOJ saying it, but being skeptical of what was said because of who it was about? They're almost happy to be like, oh yeah. Yeah, I think you mentioned this earlier. It's like, oh yeah. Oh, get them. Yeah. Fuck them. They did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredibly suspect?
Yeah. I mean, someone said, and I don't have the tweet in front of me, but they basically said that, this person was normal in 2021. They were normal, whatever that means.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
They were normal. And then they started out of nowhere to start spouting out this ridiculous stuff. I don't know, talking shit about APAC and, talking some weird stuff about, I don't know, Russia-Ukraine war, kind of weird, And it's just like, okay, so what? No one is allowed to change their minds on anything. Money, not even with that thing. Let's take the whole money thing out. That's not even a part of this whole thing. I can, if I saw some evidence, if I believed in something and then I saw something else that was contradictory to what I first believed in, but then that convinced me, I'm not allowed to change my mind. No, I have to stay libertarian. It's like a lot of libertarians during the COVID stuff. A lot of people changed their mind because they're like, well, libertarians aren't doing anything. They have no power whatsoever to do anything. They're completely powerless and meaningless. Why would I continue to be doing this, or believe in this libertarian, spouting out this libertarian horse shit to people? Hey, did you know that taxation is theft? Oh, thanks a lot. Fucking okay, great. Thanks. We're dealing with something else right now. I could care less about your fucking, civil asset forfeiture stance right now. We're dealing with something bigger than that, way bigger than that, So I'm not allowed to change my mind. So if this person was, they were normal, and then they changed their mind, I was presented with some new stuff that came into the forefront, made me realize that, hey, maybe APAC is more of a manipulator and more of a, they have a lot of more say than I originally had thought. I thought they did have some say, but a lot more say. So now I'm going to be like, hey, that's kind of weird. APAC has a lot of power.
Let me ask you this, because so you're bringing up the angle of, so the person in question was becoming very critical of APAC, who themselves are an organization that they're not hiding anything. They openly and explicitly talk about all the money they throw around to influence politics for a foreign nation. That it's literally their name. It's literally the name of the organization. This is not a secret society we're talking about here. They're out in the open.
Yeah.
So this person you're talking about was being critical of APAC, and you're implying that may have had something to do either with the whole event, or at least with why so many people were so quick to turn on that person. That's what you're implying. Okay.
Possibly.
Well, let me throw this hypothetical out there.
Sure.
Because again, this is kind of going back to the whole, why should we believe anything the DOJ says? Well, I know somebody else who the right wingers by and large really love, and rightfully so, but is also very critical of AIPAC. And they actually have a lot of sway because they are a politician. There's this congressman named Thomas Massey in Kentucky. Now he has some sway in politics because he actually gets to, he actually votes on things.
Yeah.
He has a hell of a lot more sway than me because I don't get to vote. He does. Well, he is very critical of AIPAC. So the reason I bring that up is that, so if you woke up tomorrow morning, Shane, and I was like, oh my God, dude, check it out. And there was a report from the Department of Justice where they were indicting Thomas Massey for taking millions of dollars from the Russians. Would your immediate reaction not be, that's bullshit? Like they're just attacking him for political reasons.
That, and also I'm surprised this didn't happen sooner. If he's so open about it, they didn't.
So if your immediate reaction was, well, they're liars anyway.
Yeah.
But this is obviously politically motivated. It's all bullshit. They're just going after him because he's against them. Then what would your opinion be of all of those right wingers who what would you think about the people who immediately turned on him? I guess is what I'm saying. What would you think of the other right wingers if if the news was, oh, Thomas Massey's being indicted, he's a Russian plant, and you were like, nah, that can't be right, that's bullshit. If you went on Twitter and Conservative Inc. and all these people were like, dude, I always knew it. Fuck Thomas Massey, man. He's a Russian spy.
Yeah, always knew it. He would tell you openly.
I've always known it, dude. We've always known, dude. Yeah, he's a Russian. God. Would you not be like, you people are disgusting. Like, you people make me absolutely sick. So again, not only are you just going hook, line, and sinker for whatever the DOJ tells you, the DOJ hates you, by the way. They hate them. Like, they hate you, but you will listen to everything they say.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you will, at the drop of a hat, turn your back on one of your quote unquote your people and fall. Like, basically, like, I guess another way of phrasing the question would be, isn't it really weird that you have the exact same opinion as like the Biden-Harris administration on this issue, and you put absolutely no thought into it at all?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I'm not even saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, isn't that really weird that yesterday you were on opposite sides of this issue, and today, because the DOJ made an indictment, you're like, oh yeah, I'm Harris Walls 100%. Yeah. On this. Yeah.
Hey, Nikki Haley agrees with you.
Nikki Haley. And like Dick Cheney announced he endorses. Yeah. Like, so if those are the people you suddenly find, like, you wake up and they're like, so you wake up, Shane, and they're all following you tomorrow morning, and they're like, yeah, Shane, just wanted to give you the hot tip for next week's 38th parallel that, Thomas Massey's a Russian plant. So there you go. I tell you what I would do. I would immediately screenshot me DMing all them with, kill yourself. maybe a little smile emoji,
Yeah. Can you broadcast it for everyone to see so we can actually see it actually happened?
Yeah. I'll stream me. Yeah. Kill your smile.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's openly saying, like, he went on Tucker Carlson basically talking about how AIPAC works. I mean, he told you on one of the biggest podcasts in the world right now. I mean, right now, Tucker Carlson and Derek Cooper, they're going through some shit because he had the audacity to question World War II history. I mean, come on. Are you crazy? Like,
I'll even go a step further on the Massey thing, because you're right, bringing up how when he was on Tucker Carlson talking about, like, he doesn't have an AIPAC guy because he basically told them they're not welcome, but all these other people have AIPAC guys. Like, they come in and they tell them, like, well, this is what we want you to do, and blah 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 blah. It's like, so I'll go even a step further and say, isn't it weird that was breaking news? What I mean by that is that So in the year of our Lord 2024, when Thomas Massey did an interview where he said, let me tell you about this thing where AIPAC has representatives just crawling all over the halls of Congress, and they have every member of Congress has an AIPAC guy, a representative of AIPAC who is assigned to them, like you having a fucking guidance counselor when you were in school, right? Every member of Congress has a guidance counselor from AIPAC that's assigned to them when they're a freshman, and they follow them everywhere they go to tell them what AIPAC thinks of every issue. So I'm not even talking about how fucked up that is. I'm talking about, isn't it weird that it was breaking news to a bunch of people when Massey talked about it? Like, how did you not know that? Because it's always been happening, right? Like that, like Massey's not new to Congress anymore. He's been there for a while. Isn't it weird that you hadn't heard this before? Like, even just in passing, like no one even brought it up before. So, because now you're starting to think, man, think how long AIPAC's been around and how much influence they have. Then think about all the congressmen who are, all the congressmen who have been, all the congressmen who have been elected and then unelected, and the new ones take their place. All the representatives that have ever been from all 50 states for your entire life, or even just say your entire adult life, they've all had an AIPAC guy. But you just now learned about that this year. Just let that roll around the head for a bit. Isn't that? But so the reason I even bring it up is just say, isn't it weird that you're just now learning about that?
What I think would be funny is if Thomas Massey had a Russian guy.
Yeah, he has a Russian guy.
Yeah, he should have a Russian guy.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what Putin thinks. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah.
Well, to that point, if there were Russian guys, those people would be getting arrested.
Right.
Like, they would, the actual Russian guys would be getting arrested for espionage, and the Congress people associated with them would be getting indicted. But how is that any different?
Yeah.
They all have an AIPAC guy, every single one of them. So I would even go the extra step and say, if we're going to start like using the judicial system or the justice system to go after that, what percentage of all of Congress gets arrested Monday morning because they've been coordinating with an AIPAC person? What percentage you think? I mean, it's got to be 98 or 99%, I would think. Right? Like we know Thomas Massey basically told them to fuck off. But how many else do you think did? I'm not saying that it's not possible that there is more, but I bet it's less than double digits. I bet it's a single digit number at the very least.
Yeah, probably.
It may only be one.
Yeah.
Because again, like let's say for instance, Joe Bob, the congressman from whatever, Idaho, let's say that person, had an AIPAC guy, and then he was like, fuck you, I don't work for you, and then now he doesn't have that AIPAC guy anymore. Don't you think he would have said something? Like he would have done an interview somewhere along the way and been like, yeah, they try, there's all of my neighbors in Congress all have AIPAC guys, but I told mine to fuck off. But that never even came up until this year when Thomas Massey said it. So the fact that it never even came up makes me think that it actually may be that Massey's the only one that said it. That said no.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that necessarily all of them do everything their AIPAC guy says to do, but he's the only one that flat out said, you're not welcome in this office.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as the DOJ is concerned, I think if you were even willing to hear them out, you've already crossed the line.
Yeah.
But we're not even talking, but that's actual honest to God politicians doing the actual legit one-to-one bidding of a foreign government. We're talking about a private citizen taking money for content. I'm not sure that under almost any circumstance other than like calls to violence, illegal, like, promoting illegal activity, I'm not sure that's a thing. I don't like, even if you
Yeah.
didn't like it, even if the money came from another country, even if they were like, well, look, we'll give you this money, but we want you to do X, Y, and Z. Like, we want you to talk about these issues and we want you to really play up these things. I'm not sure that should, like, what difference does it make?
Of all the people that have been involved with all this, the one name that stuck out to me the most, that I just couldn't even believe that Russia would go, I want you to go get these people to talk about whatever. And that's Dave Rubin. Why in the fuck would you have Dave Rubin on your team, who's like, out of all the people involved, he's probably the most like, oh yeah, Israel's great and everything that Palestinians do is bad.
Yep.
What? That makes no sense to me. He's, out of all of them, he's the dumbest. He's the dumbest person of all of them. I mean, like, Dave Rubin? Are you kidding me? And I used to not have a problem with that guy. He said happy birthday to me on Twitter once. Thanks, Dave. I really appreciated that. But now I look at him like, the fuck? You're gonna have Dave Rubin on your team? And these people, and this person included, is like, hey, we are voices that have been, we have our mouths taped. They don't want to hear our voices. We're unfiltered. Dave Rubin's unfiltered. Dave Rubin's unfiltered. Through what lens is he unfiltered?
Did Dave Rubin wish you happy birthday before or after he bought a human being?
Before, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Before.
Because he really fell off after he got into slavery.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying though. Before, like, I didn't really have a problem with him, but now, like I said, I changed my opinion on things and people. Like, I'm not allowed to do that. Like, people aren't allowed to change their minds on anything. It's just so stupid, but no, they were normal one time, and then all of a sudden they got weird and changed their opinion on things kind of randomly.
Maybe, nothing has happened in world history that would make you think one thing, but then make you think another.
Yeah. Once you set your ideals and you have your opinion on something.
Even if you thought one thing and then someone paid you money, and that's the reason why, because they paid you that money, you then said the other thing. Does that mean you go to prison?
No, it just means that someone paid you to say something. Actors do that. Actors get paid to say shit they probably don't even believe in.
So the actors who are like peddling, whatever, some, like Doritos and Snickers to you, that's like, you're the one that's supposed to eat the goy slop. They don't put that shit in their bodies.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking fat ass, you put that stuff in your body. They're not going to eat that shit. They're going to go enjoy their filet mignon and lobster. That's what they're going to go enjoy. So the only reason any of this is even remotely controversial is two things. One is they've created an offense called election interference, and we don't know what that is or what that means. But since they've created it, that now gives them carte blanche to go after you for it. So if they couldn't prosecute you, or even just going after your monetary assets, if they couldn't do that yesterday because you didn't break a rule, they just found something you did and made a rule against it. And now you've broken a rule. What's that phrase? Find me the person and I'll find you the crime. That's what it is. So there's only 2 points to this whole controversy. Is that find me the person, I'll find you the crime. And 2, what was it that she changed her mind on that could elicit such a reaction? It wasn't her changing her mind about pineapple on pizza.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't changing. It wasn't her. It wasn't her getting off of Team Garoppolo onto Team Mahomes. No, it was thinking that killing like 13,000 children in one strip of land, that's bad, and that you shouldn't. Like, guys, you shouldn't do that. That's a murder on such a wide scale of one group of people against another that I would dare call it a word that starts with a G. and ends with inocide.
Mm.
And it was only then that suddenly the mighty gears of the Department of Justice started to turn. Do we know for an absolute certainty that that's the trigger? Of course we don't know. But how many things can you notice before you've noticed a pattern?
And especially with October 7th, when that whole thing happened, there were a lot of noticing after that. A lot of noticing.
That's the thing, is that there's all these people that are doing the noticing, and they're noticing things like this about this particular controversy. And but there's all of these other people that used to be the noticers that they don't notice when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying?
Or they're just like this. I see it, but
the people who style themselves as the noticers suddenly believe everything from an indictment from the Department of Justice word for word.
What if China was the one that gave them the money? Would they be saying the same thing, do you think? Do you think these same people will be going after them? Or do you think they would hold off their judgment?
I think if it were China, well, it's where, but where the money comes from is a separate issue from what's the agenda.
Yeah.
If the money if the only difference was you just keep doing the 38th parallel and you don't change anything at all, but China gives you money, I bet nothing would happen. Yeah. I don't think they would. I don't think they love China, by the way. I think they want a war with China so that you can send your son to go die in World War III. I think that's what they really want.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they would want to come ruin your life because China was funding your podcast. But if China funded your podcast and they wanted you to talk shit about, the inocide with a G, and you did, then they would have a problem. So it wasn't really China. It was the message. It wasn't really Russia. Russia's just a scapegoat. Russia's a scapegoat for everything. And even, by the way, with that, because I know we're running out of time, but it's always that, what's old is new again. Like, I'll tell you this quick little story before we wrap up.
Okay.
My brother was in the Air Force, and he's not like an oorah big military guy. So I don't know, like, it's one of those, like, when he said he's joining the Air Force, it's like, really? Fag. So anyway, but he joined the Air Force not long after 9/11 happened. And I'm not necessarily saying that he was like, oh my God, they attacked our country, I'm going to join the military. It's really more that he was just a deadbeat, like early 20 something who he graduated high school, but then he didn't go to college. He just went to work, but then he didn't get a good job. And then, like, his shitty job, it wasn't paying very much. And he was like, I don't see how I'm going to have any upward mobility in life.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And so he joined the military. Look, a lot of people do that, whatever. It's kind of hitting the reset button on your young life. But he joined the Air Force, and he was a linguist. So linguists actually technically are spies, because they're training you in languages so that you can go listen to communications and translate. That actually technically labels you under the Espionage Act, believe it or not. But anyway, that's not necessarily important. It's just an interesting little side bit. But a part of his training was he also had to go through SEER training. Are you familiar with SEER training? SEER training is where basically they drop you somewhere, and then you're supposed to, like, rough it and survive in the wilderness for like a few days or a week or whatever. And then you get captured, and then they, like, simulate interrogation and torture, like they're trying to get you to give up secrets. And it's not like really hardcore, because obviously they're not going to torture a bunch of American soldiers and it be a huge scandal. It's more to simulate the experience, because it's just kind of like, it's like well, look, if you're going to be in this life, then this is something that you may have to deal with. And so you need to be, like, psychologically prepared for it. So he went through SEER training, and they talked to them about how, like, well, look, if you're a linguist and if they have you on a plane flying over wherever and you're listening to people talk, and then your plane gets shot down, you are a spy behind enemy lines. And they will, if they get you, they're going to treat you like you committed espionage, because you did. Literally. So that's what he was when he was in the Air Force. And something that was really interesting about all of that, like, like going through that experience and then coming back was because he talked a lot about like going through like kind of the psychological torture of going through that training and having to deal with an interrogator and all that. And he said, but what was so funny about it was you can tell that the military is outdated. And what I mean by that is that like they're going off of scripts. Like it's all fake. Obviously, you're not being shot down in Seattle and being captured by Russians in Seattle, Washington. Because it was in Washington State where it happened, where they like did their training. But you can tell that they're going off of scripts. Like they're just reading lines off of a script. And the bad guys in the training exercise were Russians. Now, this was back in like 2006 or 2007 or whatever. And everyone in his squad thought it was so funny that like we're in the middle of the war on, like we're in the early stages of the war on terror. And like, this is like right off the bat in Iraq and Afghanistan. And when he was in the Air Force, they were teaching him Arabic because he's going to go to the fucking Middle East and listen to Arabic and translate it. And he's like, it's so funny that the training exercises like are basically from the Cold War. Like, even though we're at war in the Middle East with Iraq, they're training us as if the Russians are going to capture us and interrogate us for secrets, like the nuclear codes or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, so everyone in the mid 2000s, everyone thought it was so funny that they thought that the Russians would be the bad guys, because it's like, that's so stupid. Don't you know the Russians aren't the bad guys anymore? That was like 20 years ago. And yet now they're the bad guys again.
Yeah. Almost 20 years later.
Just throwing that out there as a funny little thing to think about.
Man, that's crazy. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It's almost as if they just need them to be the bad guys.
Yeah. I mean, the war on terror is pretty much in the rearview mirror. I mean, it's still like going on, but it's not the forefront anymore. Russia, Ukraine. I mean, yeah. So it's just interesting though to see that something like this happens like a day after a Chinese spy was arrested from who was working with the Kathy Hochul's office or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then like a day later, this comes out. And I mean, I don't know if it was coordinated, like, hey, we're going to do this. And then the next day we're going to have this come out, and we're not even going to talk about because nobody even talks about the Chinese thing anymore. No one's even talking about that. Because this story is, I mean, a lot of the right wingers and conservatives, they're all taking sides. They're all splitting apart. Chaos is ensuing in the right wing conservative political sphere that's going on. Maybe that
seems like good news for the Democrats, if you ask me.
I mean,
yeah, out there.
Shoot, that to them, they're laughing their asses off. Destiny's having a great time with all this stuff. I mean, he is laughing his ass off.
With Republicans like these, who needs Democrats?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. All of this is crazy. And
so to bring all that full circle, I don't know, I don't care, I don't believe anything the government says, but we're for sale. So
yeah,
we've got our conversion charts right here to figure out how much money you're giving us.
Exactly.
So
yes,
we're ready to go.
All right, Alan, where can they find your show? It's Too Late with Alan.
They can go right there. If you go to Twitch, Twitter, X, YouTube, Spotify, whatever, go to @AlanMosleyTV or search It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. New episodes every Wednesday night at 9:00 Eastern time. We just launched a huge fundraiser to keep It's Too Late on the air for many years to come. That's gonna go for a year long. I have a nifty link that I would share if I had it handy right now, but I don't. I could probably find it, but I don't know. These are the types of things that, if I actually wanted it to work, I would like think ahead of time. It's probably why I don't have the subscribers I want. Because I don't know. So I don't know.
I forgot I was going to show you something and I just almost forgot. So this is the end, but I'm going to show you this. It's kind of interesting. So this tweet is from Ray at Raymo_G, giving them a shout out. LMAO, this lack of self-awareness. Let me cut in the middle of an interview about foreign interference in American affairs to an ad about sending money to Israel. So you're going to get a kick out of this, I think.
Oh, it won't let me post the link. So that's why.
Look at that guy.
Oh, Christ. Here we go.
It's frustrating to get entangled in whatever it is she's accused of being involved in.
Folks, our friends in Israel need our help now more than ever. If you're looking for a tangible way to support the Holy Land, you need to check out Artza Box. Artza brings the essence of Israel right to your doorstep. Every 3 months, you receive a carefully curated collection of authentic Israeli products, a treasure trove of handcrafted gifts, beautiful artwork, delicious foods, aromatic spices, and more. It's like taking a journey through the land of the Bible without even leaving your house.
And you'll also get your penis cut off. You get your circumcision and everything like that. So
you don't actually get anything good. You get a box of a bunch of handmade horse shit from like peddlers. Like, how are they any different than like fucking Brazil? Jesus.
So what do you think of that? You're going to get your Artza box 10% off?
Yeah, whatever.
In the middle of them literally talking about foreign interference, he goes, hey, get this box from Israel.
If one of y'all sends me an Artza box, I'm actually going to reverse the address and come to your house.
They couldn't have put a different ad in there, like Sherry's Berries, 100 flowers. I mean, are you serious?
Yeah.
Come on.
So I would post the link, but I can't. It won't let me. I'm actually not a part of this program.
What?
This is just a facsimile of me. I'm AI. I'm not real. I'm only an AI person. I'm not actually. Yeah. But that would actually make me self-aware if I also knew I wasn't me.
Yeah.
So then now I am, because I'm self-aware. So that's a paradox.
Well, another thing that I know you can promote is something that people drink in the morning.
No, fuck them. My link's way more important now. My link, I literally quit doing anything if I don't get people to go to the link. So the link is first. Okay. This guy right here is second. This guy right here is a distant second to my link.
I'm sure he appreciates that. Hey, come on.
Actually, you know what? You know what's funny about this guy is that this guy is already a sponsor of the show. So this guy's already carrying the weight of like 10 of you hobos.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting here saying we need like 100 new subscribers at our membership link, like this guy's already carrying, he's already carrying your weight. Like how does that make you feel? Like Steve Fox is out there working his ass off,
Hey, interfering with your show.
Yeah. I only am talking about this shit because Steve asked me to. Yeah. And now I'm gonna get indicted by the DOJ.
And what about Tennessee hot sauce? They tell you to promote their hot sauce too, right? They
actually,
pay you
no,
to do
they
that?
don't. Actually,
oh, really?
Yeah, no, they don't. Well, the last time Danny actually sent me an updated, like, hey man, this is what we're like selling, was when they released the beef jerky, which was great. I love that shit. It was so good. And dude, that was like a year ago.
Oh boy.
I mean, I know he's still in business, but
yeah.
He's like whatever, Danny is perfectly fine with us just coming up with our own. Actually, that's what I do for Steve too. I just make up everything that we say on the show about Steve and his product. I literally just make up. But apparently it's super successful because he keeps sponsoring the show. So maybe people like the made up version more than they like the real one. Shit does smell great though.
Maybe you can send me the link and then I can share it here so people can see it. And
if you put your nose right up to the sniff hole, like shake
right in the butthole.
It's the sniff hole. All right.
Yeah. Oh,
It's patented sniff hole technology right there on the back. You gotta, if you're gonna do it right. It's not a butthole.
sorry,
It's a sniff hole.
my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody. So what we're trying to do, which by the way, I'm working on getting like a whole bunch of like better marketing stuff together, but we have this nifty little link where you can go to sign up to be a recurring member of Alan Mosley TV. So we're working on making it a lot prettier and having different tiers and rewards and all that stuff. But for the sake of making it easy, we had said if we can get 100 new members at $10 between now and September 3rd of next year,
Wow,
then I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
just
If-
$10.
$10 a month. If we don't get 100, if we get 99, I swear to God, Shane, this is not a joke. If we got 99 people by September 3rd, I would never do the show again and delete every channel that night. If we
Well.
get 100 or more, we will continue. If we get 99 or less, I swear to Christ, if we got high 90s, I would not waver in my resolve. I would delete the show. Not shitting you.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? He's not shitting you.
No. Anybody who's known me for any amount of time knows if I'm saying like I'm dead fucking serious.
Yeah.
Don't even tempt me with 99 new subscribers. It has to be 100 or more, or I will. 0 dark 30.
99 red balloons.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, because that actually is not. That's after that.
Yeah.
That countdown is for a few weeks after the end of the fundraiser.
You get all that money, and a few weeks later, I'll be dead, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, we've been okay. Listen, we talked about this on the after party this Wednesday.
Yeah.
I have made it because you know how you have to have stretch goals, like, oh well, when
Mhm.
we get 25%, it'll be this. If we get 50%, if you do $30, it'll be this. If you do $50, it'll be this. I have made a stretch goal. If we reach 100 people, I will reset the timer.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what a oh man, what a gift.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. We'll reset the timer. We'll wind the clock and do it again.
But what if they don't want you to reset this timer? They want to see you actually like, drop dead.
Then I mean, I'll have a link for that. That'll be like that'll be the $1,000 link. So like we're trying to
Okay.
get 100 people at $10, which is $1,000. I'll have a link for $1,000. So if we have one person just do the $1,000 themselves, then they could just be like, actually, I want you to take 100 days off.
Hey,
I want you to subtract 100 days from it. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah.
there you go.
I mean,
right,
who will not
well,
argue.
Yeah. You hear that? Go over there, go to his Twitter account. I believe it's the pinned tweet as of right now.
Is
Go
it?
subscribe. I think so.
Wow. I pin tweets.
I think.
Neat.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know.
I mean, I don't. You can see how plugged in I am, dude. I don't know. It is. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many more plugged in your Twitter account than you are? Come on now. How dare you?
I don't know.
I should
dude.
be your social media manager.
Anyone who's followed me for any amount of time can see we're like Thursday night through Monday, it's just dark. And then leading up to Wednesday night, it's like, hey everybody, and then back to dark. Yeah, dude. Good night, Lyle. See you, buddy. We didn't get done with the show in time before Lyle had to go to bed. There's still 2 minutes 15 seconds.
Oh,
It's 31-29 Philly with
Oh, come
2:15
on.
left.
I kind of want Philly to win. I kind of want the
Why?
Philadelphia Eagles to win because the Packers are like the huge threat and the top of the NFC, and I'm a Niners fan. I don't want to see Green Bay up there. Come on.
The Packers are a huge threat.
According to a lot of the pundits, they are. So I don't know. What am I supposed to know? Oh, am I doing the DOJ thing? Hey, they said it, so I guess it's true.
The Eagles have the ball, so they're in field goal range, but they're trying to just ice the game,
Oh, yeah,
just run the
yeah.
clock. So maybe me and Shane should just go watch the rest of the football game.
Sounds good to me. All right, everybody, we're gonna go watch the game now. Bye.